forensics and crime scene investigation techniques he learned at school to restore the fire pit to its original state. He tried to claim that the murder was a preemptive strike, alleging that he had to kill his mother before she eventually killed him. Police found no evidence of abuse.
They cuffed him, and he said, you want me to take me out to the crime scene? I'll show you exactly what I did. And he got out of that car and went to that crime scene like a little kid would go to Christmas morning down the steps and show us and tell us once again everything that he had done to his mother. The person that she brought into this world and nurtured, she's staring in his eyes as he's trying to kill her. I just cannot believe how that must have been for her. No sign of remorse whatsoever. He was a soulless individual who thought he was the smartest person in the room. And of all the work that I've done, he's probably one of the top 3 sociopaths that I've ever come across. I mean, we brought him out here last night to reenact the crime scene, and you might have thought he was going on national television. He was so happy with himself that he was out, he was getting his moment in the sun, and wanted to tell everybody how smart he was for what he did to his mom. I don't know what to say. It's just heartbreaking. And to watch how cold and callous and calculating he was, I think was probably the most shocking thing for all of us. Just so matter-of-factly, yeah, I killed her. Yeah, I drug her around the house. Yeah, we drove around. Yeah, I dug a hole. Yeah, I shoved her in the hole. Yeah, I poured bleach in there to kill the smell. And, at one point in time, he was going to cut her finger off to take her wedding band so he could pawn it so he could flee to Michigan. There's some of the things that were going through his head. He believed he was the smartest person in the room, and he continued to tell us his theories of what he believed and why it would happen to his mom and where we should be focusing our attention. And the sergeant did a phenomenal job. He just kept letting him talk. And in the interim, we've come across his two co-defendants who lead us to the property that's missing, lead us to where mom is at, and basically tell us, yeah, he called us, told us he killed his mom, and he needed help to, dispose of her and come up with a story. And even when confronted with that, his response was, so you're telling me my friends killed my mother? But 5 hours ago, you told us your friends had nothing to do with your mother's disappearance. Now you're telling us she's dead.
All 3 teens were arrested. Greg was charged with first-degree murder, abuse of a dead human body, and tampering with a crime scene. Brian and Dylan were both charged with accessory after the commission of a first-degree murder. They were initially charged as juveniles and sent home with ankle monitoring devices, but a week after the murders, their charges were upgraded to adult, and they made appearances for the judge to set bond. Greg was indicted on adult charges, making him ineligible for bond, so the focus of his hearing was to issue a no-contact order, barring Greg from trying to contact his stepfather. He had attempted on several occasions to phone him from jail, but the judge put a stop to that. Greg was still allowed to contact other family members. Only Brian Porras was able to bail out. His bond was set at $100,000 and he was bailed out after spending 1 night in jail. He is the only one of the 3 with a private attorney. Dylan Segleric's public defender wasn't even aware of the hearing and had to be contacted by phone. He was denied bond due to several factors, one of which was his mental health background. Dylan had a history of being Baker acted, being involuntarily committed to a mental health facility for 72 hours. The state's attorney also pointed out that he had expressed suicidal thoughts to investigators after leading them to Gail's body. He had recently checked himself into Halifax Health Medical Center, though he was discharged without treatment or counseling. Dylan's mother stopped showing up to court once his charge was upgraded to adult. His father and brother both had criminal records, making them ineligible to house him if he were bonded out. Dylan had lived with his grandparents, who ended up moving to a 55-plus community while he was in jail. After over 300 days in jail, Dylan was granted a $200,000 bond, with the requirement that he have a mental health service plan in place before his release. He remains in jail as the 3 await the start of their jury trials scheduled for March 20th, 2020. Until next time, lovelies, don't be scared.